What's going on YouTube? Paul here with another video, and take a look at this giant pile of cards. Sorry about the glare, there's not going to be much I can do about that in this specific area because there's a lot of light going on, but this is a cube draft. There's been a lot of talk about cube drafts in the past, but not so much in the past, 10 or so months, and there's a good reason for that. There's been a lot of big events going on. They're kind of coming to a close as the national season is pretty much close to over. We have the U.S. Nets next week, not U.S., the North American Nationals next week, and after that there's not going to be too much going on for Yu-Gi-Oh for a little while, and there's going to be, kind of a little spot where we won't be able to do too much aside from local tournaments and stuff, and there's no real reason to go to a local after nationals if you're not really testing for anything. Sure, you can just have fun, play some locals, and play your games and stuff, but you're going to be playing for practically no reason except for fun, which of course is great to have in Yu-Gi-Oh! But why not have fun in a different way? I'm going to give you two different approaches you could take to this Yu-Gi-Oh! Hiatus, if you will, or event hiatus, if you will. And yeah, so let's start with cube drafting. So hopefully you all know what drafting is. If you don't, maybe look it up, because it's not that complicated, but I don't really want to explain drafting in this video because I assume a lot of people already know what it is. So pretty much a normal cube draft for Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been around 440 cards. There's just then a whole bunch of powerful monster spells and traps, keeping the ratios kind of, on the right side, so people don't overdraft traps or spells or stuff because there's too many spells in the cube and stuff. So of course you'd have the most of the cards in the cube would be monsters, because most decks run at least 50% monsters, and then the next would be spells, which would be a little more than traps, and then finally traps. So as you can see here, there's just a lot of powerful cards. A lot of these cards are banned. You might not even know some of these cards because they're so old. If, say, you're a newer player, there are some kind of debatable cards, like they're not the best. But yeah, it's because I think they have unique interactions with certain cards in the cube as a whole. Like Sacred Crane is really cool with Call of the Haunted, Monster Reborn, Premature Burial, Summoner Monk, etc. So it's in here for that reason. So most cubes are 440 cards, but I have cut mine down to 360 at the moment, which does make this particular cube a little bit different than most, but the idea was that I didn't really want any kind of themes in my cube, so I didn't really want like zombies going on, or heroes, or dark worlds, things like that, where it makes your drafting experience kind of, I guess, formulated already. Like, oh, you first picked a Grapha, I guess I'm gonna just stick to Dark World. What I tried to do with this is try to make every card kind of a standalone card that was good on its own, and you don't really have to draft around a certain type of deck. You can just draft a nice control-based deck. Although there are a few combo decks in this, there's no real like themes, like I said. And as a result, the 440 card cube that I initially had a lot of bad cards, just because without themes there aren't as many good cards for the cube to have. So that's why I have 360. What that means is you can either have a 4-person or an 8-person draft. A 4-person would be the Rochester draft, which is pretty much you get 4 piles of 90 cards and you put them on the table, and then you pick up the first pile and lay every card on the table, and each person picks one. It goes to the next person, they pick one. Everyone gets to see the cards, and then you get 15 cards from each pile, so that would be 60 cards total, and you build a deck out of that. So that's for the 4-person, that's what Rochester is. And yeah, the leftover cards just go back in the box, of the cube box, if you will. Let me show you that real quick, so I don't confuse anyone. This is the cube box. You just throw the cube in there. So yeah, that's the 4-person cube, and it can be fun, but it actually takes longer, surprisingly, than an 8-person cube, because an 8-person cube is pretty much just like a regular draft. Again, you're going to shuffle up all these cards, and you're going to put the cards into piles of 15 until you have, what is it, 3 times 8, 24 piles of 15, which I believe equals 360 if I'm correct. 45 times 8. So yeah, and then each person drafts a pack at a time. The packs are 15 each, and each person gets 3 packs. And yeah, you just draft until there are no cards left, then you go to the next pack. Draft till there are no cards left. Go to the next pack, and then you have a 45 pile of 45 cards, and from there you build a 30 card deck, and you have a 15 card side deck. So that is one of the flaws of having a 360 card deck. You can't cube. You can't actually make 40 card decks consistently, at least. I mean, you are going to get a pile of 45 cards, but are you really going to want to throw pretty much all of the cards into your deck? No, there are going to be some pretty much dead cards in the pile, so I figured a 30 card deck would be perfect for the cube, if you will, for the, 30 card cube. So, yeah, I think I pretty much explained it. Hopefully you can get a look at everything in the cube. Sorry about the glare, like I said. It really is fun. It's a blast. It's way better than Yu-Gi-Oh! Is pretty much ever. You can always draft a different deck. It's always going to be different. There's 360 cards and you only get 45. So you're just always going to have a different deck. You can always take a different approach to the cube. It's just a really fun experience all of the time. Me or Joe Girlando always bring our cube to YCS's, and we just have a blast when there's free time. We're definitely going to bring them to nationals, and we're just going to draft with all our friends, and it's going to be a blast. I suggest you guys build these. They're rather inexpensive, as you can see here. Let's take a look. Breakthrough skill, that just came common. Crush card, that's kind of expensive right now for some reason. Safe zone is kind of expensive. Fiendish chain and deep prison are like $5 at most for the commons. Sorry, I'm a bit shaky. I don't have the tripod because I have to move around a lot. Solemn warnings in there. I'm pretty sure that's pretty cheap right now. The creatures. So yeah, I don't actually have synchro decks or extra decks. You just build a 30 card deck and that's what you have. Although I do have some utility tuners, like Glow Up Bulb is really good with Monarch, so I figured I'd just throw it in there. It also helps your mill engine going. I don't know. I think you guys pretty much saw all the cards, but I'll give it another go. Gel and Duo is kind of expensive. I haven't really added up the price, but I would say you'd probably be able to build one of these for under $150. That might be kind of low, might be kind of high, I don't know. It is 360 cards, so expect to pay a bit. You know, Regeki can be expensive probably, but it's common in Battle Pack. Gold Shark's kind of up there, Night Beam's kind of up there. They're not overly up there though, there's no super expensive cards really, so. And here's the glare, but as I move you get to see all the cards pretty much. And that is the cube. So I just edited this yesterday from the 440 card cube because I noticed all the bad cards that no one was picking. I always change my cube. I strive to make it better, and you know I notice these flaws with the cube every time I get to use it, and I can just keep making it better. So it really is a great time. I suggest you guys try out the cube. Now let's move on to the next option. Alright, next up is Kaijudo. Definitely not Yu-Gi-Oh! These cards look nothing like them, and they're even bigger. But like I said, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is kind of going to be kind of bland after Nationals, not going to be a lot of events going on. So something else you could do for fun is Kaijudo. There are some really inexpensive decks. I'm talking like $20 each, and they're like close to tier 1, if not tier 1. And you could just build them, and this game really is a blast. I really enjoy this game. It came out around a year ago. Player base isn't the biggest, but it is growing quickly. And yeah, this game also has a lot of expensive cards, so some of the other tier 1 decks can be close to $400, and it's still, like I said, you can build $20 decks, so yeah, it's really fun. These are my extra cards that I keep for myself for, my different decks. I have a deck built right now. It's Megabugs, or with a whole bunch of different weird things in it. I suggest you guys try this out if you want to give it a shot. Give a new card game a shot. This is really fun. It's really similar to Magic the Gathering in the sense that it has, a mana base to it. But it also is pretty different. It is pretty much a direct remake of Duel Masters. The game actually died in America. It's still going on in Japan, Duel Masters, but in America it died after the 12th set. So I think it died in like 2006 or 7, and it just came back last year, 2012, as the card game Kaijudo. They're giving it another shot. Wizards of the Coast is taking care of this card game, so we all know they're a good company, and they've done great things with Magic. They just held the largest trading card game event, Magic the Gathering, a couple weeks ago for Modern Master Set. It was pretty cool. Yeah, but I'm kind of rambling. If you guys want to try out a card game, I definitely suggest Kaijudo. I've been playing this a lot. Nationals are in like a month from now. I'll be going to that national as well, so maybe I can win Yu-Gi-Oh! Nationals and Kaijudo Nationals. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, definitely check this game out. Even if you don't think you can afford it, check out some duels on YouTube. Just write Kaijudo duels and yeah, give it a shot. Because the game is really fun, and I really, 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 really like it. So those are 2 things you guys can do with your spare time.